front cover. Hi, hey, I'm Michael. How you doing?
Oh, so good.
You got all the
Fantastic.
moves. You got all the moves. Always all
Yeah,
the moves.
Fran and I were practicing them this morning. Laura's leaving the house and we're out in the yard dancing in front of the car as she's, well, reversing out. But yeah.
I do know that Freya is the master judger of your moves, and I know that
Oh,
each
absolutely.
week you come in, you have put them past her, and this is almost approval status, right? If it's coming here. Yeah. All right. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining me today, dancing in. Good to see you. Hi, everyone else. It's good to have you here. You are on the Social Butterfly, where we go live each week talking about all things to do with business, whether we're unpacking how to grow it, how to staff it, how to fund it, how to create new products around it, and just generally everything that goes into this amazing life of business development. I'm Katrina Collins from Butterfly Media, and we're taking socials to sales by bringing in 8 clients in 90 days. And I'm always joined by Michael Clift from Venture Cultivation Coaching, who is putting in an additional 50 to 500K into your revenue. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, everyone else. Today, we thought we might crack open a conversation that's pretty dear to my heart, one that used to scare the hell out of me. I backed myself into a corner of, I can't do it. It's not me. It's too scary. I don't want to be that guy, right? And the conversation we're talking about is sales. Sales. Now, imagine you're in business, right? What is the number one fundamental thing a business needs to do, Michael?
Well, if we break it down, there's actually 3 real basic things.
Okay.
If we don't want to overcomplicate it, there's 3 things.
Yep.
The first one is marketing. You need to tell people about what you do. The second one is sales. You need to be able to help them decide if it's right fit for them and they can buy it, right? And then the last one is customer experience, where you actually deliver on the thing that you sold. So there's 3. If any of those are missing, you don't have a business.
Great. All right. So let's talk about the second one, selling. Seems to be, as I said, for me, very, very scary. Talked myself into a I can't sell corner. And, nearly lost my business over it because I wasn't out there making sales. I was so scared of it, right? Just couldn't do it. I remember sitting in my office for 4 or 5 hours trying to make those cold calls, right? If that was the way I was going to do it. Then I was trying to do outreach. And then even in person, there's no way in person I would ever say, you want to buy my thing? Whereas if I was selling a coffee, which I used to do for other people, of course I would ask them for $4, $5, whatever it was for the coffee, right? But I would never say, can you pay me for the thing that we're doing? So let's talk about the fear around sales, why it's important, probably what it does look like in comparison to what we think it looks like, and any other notes you've got. How's that sound?
Yeah, see, that you said something that is so good. Before we get into the fear around it, I want to talk about how it presents. So, why we're having this conversation is because it's very relevant to both of us, and we have this conversation a lot with clients of ours, and we see it out in the marketplace all the time. And it's a massive hurdle for businesses moving forward, whether it's the business owner or their team is scared to do sales because they have preconceptions around it. And we're going to get into that part of it. And this is something I'm very excited about. But what I want to talk about first is how do you know that you have a challenge with sales and that there is fear around it and it's like sales is a barrier in your business? There tends to be, there is a few things, but I've got 4 here that I'm thinking of. The first one is if, like you said before, if someone is walking around talking about, I don't want to feel salesy, that is about their fears. It's not about the person on the other side and what that other person will think. And I'm going to get into that more once I've read it off the rest. So there's things like I don't want to feel salesy. When you see businesses and owners and employees focusing on getting absolutely everything perfect before they put it out into the world, there's that but I have to have this and this needs to happen and we've got to have this bit here and we've got to have, and it's not actually about having the perfect product. While that is important long term, that behavior right there isn't actually about having the perfect product. You'll find people are like, okay, if I'm going to do this thing or we're going to put it out there, we need to have a landing page. We've got to have all the social media in place. We've got to have stories. We've got to have like we have to have every single thing. It's got to all be lined up. And is it good to have that? Yes. Do you have to have absolutely every little thing perfect every time? Especially in the businesses that we're talking about, when we're talking about businesses that are like, let's say in between 0 and 3 million, right? Let's just use that as a barrier. Does everything have to be absolutely perfect? No, in fact, you want to get things out there first because you haven't actually got enough feedback yet to make it perfect. And then you will hear a lot of, which you mentioned before, people talking about all the things they can't do.
Hmm.
So like that's how like it presents. This is like sales, people that are scared of sales or businesses that are scared of sales. Um, that's how it presents. And at the end, I'm going to give everyone a reframe on how we can view it differently. That like if someone's listening to this and like, how do I get past it? I'm going to give you that at the end. So let's talk about fear, if that's okay.
Let's talk about fear.
Cool. There are 3 parts to it. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to go through 3 different things. I'm going to talk about like what it is, how I've felt with it in the past, and how I've overcome it, because that's probably the easiest way to do it, right? So the first one is fear of rejection. What if they say no? Like, what if I call them and they start yelling at me? What if I send a DM and they're like, you don't talk to me like that. This is not what this platform's for. What is going on here? What if I walk into a networking group and I'm like, oh, I've got this thing, and they're like, well, we don't fucking care, mate. Like, what's going on there? Piss off. Like, and then, like those are all the things that go through your head, right?
Totally, yeah.
So, and how it feels is like the anxiety that builds up in you, and you get the butterflies in the stomach, and you
Mm.
start like talking yourself out of it. You're like, oh no, they don't really want this thing. Nah, it's no, I'm not going to talk to them. Like you go into a networking group and you go talk to someone, and they're like, oh, I'll just go over here and have a drink instead, maybe eat some food. Someone might come and talk to me. And then when they do, I'll talk about the weather, or I'll just ask them how things are going or something like that. And just like you just hear and you walk out of there and you go, oh, that was not good.
That was terrible. Not doing that
Yeah.
again. That's what sales looks
Yeah.
like. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a hang up from us.
Mm.
Like we're here worried about whether they're going to say no, and it actually is us making a decision for them and not giving them an opportunity to say yes. So that is worse if we're not giving them the opportunity than if we're actually asking them. I'll
Mm.
get into that again later
Mhm,
on. So,
mhm.
um, I went through this. It sucked. It felt bad. It was making it like when because I had a really bad experience when I like first came like in especially in the coaching like because I've done a lot of sales before this, but in coaching business I came out of the gates and I was like yeah, and I went to talk to people and I just got like a hell slap in the face and I was like this doesn't feel good, and it was like it got hard to get out there, and there was 2 things that I did to really sort of overcome it. And the first one is I had to make it about other people.
Mhm.
And it was by not doing it, I was making decisions for other people. By not getting out there and talking to people, I was making decisions for them because I have something and I have a service and I have an offering that can actually change their lives. But by not giving them that option and like putting it out there, I'm saying to them, hey, your life may never change. And I'm not giving you the opportunity for that to happen,
I wanna
which
say something, but I'm
sucks.
gonna write it down. We'll come
Um,
back. Yep.
you come back to it? Okay.
Yeah.
The second one is I had to gamify it, and it was a
Huh?
bit of a reframe, and it was going fishing for no's. So instead of focusing on getting yeses, because that like it became about how many no, like I'm going to go for this amount of time. I'm going to go to this event and talk to this many people and try and get this many no's. And it was more about just talking to people and putting it out there than it was about getting a yes. And then I go, I'm going to send this many DMs to get this many no's. I'm going to make this many calls to get this many no's. And it was about going, okay, what I'm actually targeting is the no. So all I now have to do is go run through the process. And if they say no, I actually get to tick that off. What happened was it got harder and harder to get no's because I was talking to more people. I was getting better at talking to people. And then because I was out there actually having those conversations, people were saying yes because I was giving them the opportunity to say yes.
I remember when you said to me, Kat, you've got to get to 10 no's today before you stop. And I couldn't get any. I couldn't get any. I was like, where's the no's?
Yeah.
All right. Yep, keep going. So that's great.
And like when we talk about that, just to reinforce that, before we move on, is that is a great example of how many yeses would have you got before that if we had have been out there sooner? How many people have not been helped because you didn't put yourself out there to help them because you're worried that they were going to say no?
I almost want to ask this question here. I'm just not sure whether. Yeah, I'm going to go.
Do it.
Yeah. So I wonder whether this is something to think about that's stopping people going out there is a belief in their own product. Like if you think you've got the winning solution, right, you can't not yell it from the mountaintop, right? But if you're like, oh, I'm just not sure about it.
It actually ties into the next one.
Great. All right.
Which is, so let's roll into it, which is fear of acceptance is the second one.
Yeah.
So what happens if they say yes? What am I going to do? Can I actually help them? Is my product going to be right fit for them? Right? Like that is the next fear because that holds a lot of people back because they're like, what if I can't help them? What if I, as a business coach, can't turn their business around? What if I can't add $50,000 to their business in this amount of time? Like, so what I was going out there and doing, which is going to tie into the next one as well, but I'll just bring it up now, is I was actually going out there and going, I will find you $100,000 in your business in 45 minutes, which I can't do. I've got the software. I can literally sit down with someone and ask them questions. And these days, I don't even need the software because for most people, I already I've used it enough. I know the numbers. I can ask them a few questions like, cool, we do this, right? But being out there asking that at first, like it's like, oh, can I actually do that for this kind of business? Oh, can I do that? And so what if they say yes is a very big stopping point for a lot of people because they're not quite sure, especially when you like bigger businesses, it's easy. You've done it for enough people that it's like you've got not just the social proof, but you've also got that inherent belief in you. Like if you throw a business at me, if you throw a business at me right now, I'm like, cool, here's what we're going to do. And we'll do this, right?
Yeah. And that's just for now.
Yeah. Well, sorry, you get that. You get that experience all the time. But anyway, we'll not segue too much.
Before we do go there, Luke, can I suggest that it might not even be fear of acceptance? It's literally no proof of concept. So will it work? So how do I go out there confidently selling it?
Cool. I actually have part of this in what I did, right? So what I did to overcome this for myself is I did two things, and I was only talking about two things. The first one is only talking about the things that I can do right now, is the first one. So I can talk about that confidently. Or for the things that I wasn't quite there yet with, I would find the people that were willing to go along the journey with me. I'd say, hey, this is what I think that's going to happen. Are you willing to work with me? And this is what we're going to do to get there. All
right, got it. So then that's a partnership.
And this is so it's like you'll see it out in the market where people go, okay, you're the alpha group. Who wants to sign up for the alpha group? And part of that is you get a discount because there's things that we're going to have to work out along the way. And this is what we think is going to happen. Right now, as an example, I've put it out there. I'm doing a 12-week mentorship for a group of coaches. It's not something that I've done before. I have a lot of clients that are in like consulting spaces. So I'm pretty confident what it's going to look like, but I haven't done the thing. So rather than me charging for it, I'm like, okay, it's once a week. There'll be a group that we can chat in and stuff like that. This is how I see it going, but I don't know. So let's get those people in there and let's feel it out and see what it looks like.
Yep.
And I think as of last night, I need to confirm this, but I think I've got 9 out of 10 people just by talking about it like that, because they know they know where it's at. I'm just being open about it.
Yeah.
And they've seen what I've done, so they want to be a part of it. So that's fear of acceptance. What if they say yes? And that's just, there's a reoccurring theme here that I'm going to tie in at the end. So the third one is fear of failing in public.
I just wrote that, fear of failure. Yep.
Yeah. So what happens if I fail in public? Like, you're worried about being embarrassed, being kicked out, being an outcast. Are people going to think that I'm a joke? Like, and I can tell you from experience, it sucks, right? So, my very first Chamber of Commerce event that I got to speak in front of people, so I was like the third one that I was there. I got to talk about what I do as a business. I wasn't even talking about 100K in 45 minutes. I was talking about $10,000 in 45 minutes. So I stood up there and said, hey, I'm Michael Clift. These are the kind of businesses that I help. And my offer is to help anyone find 10K in 45 minutes for free. Come see me. And the president came up after me and goes, that sounds too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
in front of like 120 people.
And you were challenging.
Well, no, I didn't at the time. I was really deflated because
Yeah, right.
there was people that were like, oh, that like, and because I could see them, they were like, oh. And then after he said that, like, no one spoke to me afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the person who's like got in that position goes, that sounds too good to be true. So everyone else now thinks that that's too good to be true.
So that's influencer marketing, right?
So like it legitimately in that space took me nearly 5 months to get someone to go through that process with me.
In 10 minutes, like someone to spend 10 minutes with you.
Oh,
wow.
10K in 45 minutes.
Oh, for someone to spend 45 minutes with you, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of time, 45 minutes.
Well,
right?
Yeah, right. So then and it's not just like I've been to other places and I said 100K in 45 minutes and people being like, no, you can't say that. That is not okay. You can't do that. So you can't talk about it. Right. And like, I have done it and I can show that I've done it. And like people are there and and they call you out and no one is going to believe you all the time because people are skeptical and they feel like, and like, if anyone is like worried about an industry where people are like super skeptical about it, try going out there as a business coach
or a marketing agency.
Like I feel like a marketing agency, you have a little bit more credibility because people understand what marketing is. I think that and this may be my preconception, but I feel like as a business coach right now, everyone looks at business coaches and they're like, okay, cool. Used car salesman, insurance salesman, business coach.
Oh, really?
Right? And look, it's not like that for me now at all because I've built myself up. I have different perception out in the marketplace. There's still people that don't want to talk to me. That's fine because I'm not for everyone. But initially worried about failing and then feeling like that had been reinforced by people saying that was really hard to go back and do it. The only way that I did that is having to just go back to, there are people out there that are building businesses that are traps and they may just get stuck and have nowhere to go and it ends in divorces. It means that kids don't see their parents. There's suicides that happens. There's bankruptcies. There's all sorts of terrible things. And if I'm not willing to go out there and face a little bit of embarrassment to go help those people, what kind of person am I?
So then it's always back to why, huh?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, I want to do the framework afterwards, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what sales is really about. Yeah, I want to talk about what sales is
Yeah,
really about
totally.
first, because I think that all of this fear, it comes, it's about us, right? So I'm going to give the framework, but before I do, I want to talk, like, I just want to change the perception of sales so it can be less about us. Now, what sales is simply is helping the other person or people or whoever you're talking to decide if your product is right fit for them. So you're literally like, you are not doing anything other than being a conduit for them in a decision making process so that they can go, yes, this is a good fit for me. So you're just asking them a series of questions and helping them position it for them to go yes or no. The reason that sales feels bad is because there are people that don't understand that and they think that their role is to just sell as many of something as possible. So they harass people. They go, you buy, you buy, you buy. Like, that is not sales. That is being shit. What sales is helping someone decide. So you're asking, especially like where I work in service based industries. And that's anything from marketing to coaching, consulting to in the financial space with accounting, bookkeepers, HR consultants, all that good jazz, right? All we are literally doing is asking a series of questions to identify what their problems are, presenting our solution as a potential or presenting our offering as a potential solution for their problems, aligning that to an outcome that they want, and then going, does this fit for you now that we've shown you all of that? That is it. So, off the back of that, the framework of sales is you are helping people. And the sales process is simply you helping someone decide. So, if you ever are here and you need something that is going to get you past the, oh my God, what if they say no? What if they say yes? What if I fail? It's just listen for these words and it's just go help people. Stop thinking about yourself and just go help people.
That's the solution. That one's helped me a lot whenever I've got in my own head over it. It's like, oh, I'm thinking about me. You can tell when you're thinking about you, right? And you slip into it and it's like, ah, nope, wrong person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. And like, the amount of times that I have this conversation, because like I two that in the last week, like one's, oh, but I don't want to have these calls. It makes me feel uncomfortable. That's super salesy. I sound wanky, blah, blah. Just go help people. Like, reframe it. It's a go help people call. Oh, and then suddenly they're closing sales left, right, and center. There's like boom, boom, boom. Because all they're doing is their perception is, oh, I'm just helping someone.
Yeah.
And then those people rock up and you're asking questions. Oh, yeah, maybe this would work for you. This is what it looks like. This is how it feels. Yeah. What do you think? And they go, yeah, we'd love to do. And yes, you can get better at asking questions and you can ask more specific questions to help them decide. And there's ways and means to get along that are ethical, that will help someone, right? However, if you're just helping them, you're going to get it done. The second one is I had someone talk to me and they actually sent me a video of someone else talking about a fast action offer, which is if you sign up today, you'll get $500 off.
Mm-hmm.
And their concern around it is like they don't want to Jedi mind trick people into buying, and they don't want to they just want to sell a good product that helps people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. That's what you want to do. I just want to reframe that Jedi mind trick, because what it actually is us making it easy for that person to say yes. That is all it is. So what tends to happen is people get caught up in their own mind, and if they have a whole heap of time to think about it, they're always going to talk themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like you going into the sales process, all those fears and everything like that just starts building up. If you genuinely have a product that is going to help someone, and you've gone through the process and you've gone boom, 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 and you're like, yeah, I can totally see this person. Why wouldn't you have a fast action option? Because that just helps them say yes.
So it's literally being able to see everything on the table and go, I know I can help this person. So once it's there, then it's just about helping them make the decision that either you offer them or not. Being prepared to
Yeah.
walk away from a deal.
Yeah, and that's like I say no to people quite regularly. It's not the right fit.
I'm
They're,
not
they're,
right
they're
now.
too they're too early in the piece. We don't mirror up with our values. They're not going to be able to handle the way that I do it because I'm pretty full on guy. And I don't
I got
handle
I
shit.
got a gold hat because of it, right?
Yeah. Right. Like I don't put up with shit if I think that you are just hiding or don't want to do a thing or something. I'm gonna call you out on it. I had a call last week and someone I asked them what they do and what they talk about when they're out in a networking group, and they told me, I'm like, that's super boring and no one cares and they don't understand it. And that is exactly verbatim what I said. And they're like, and I was like, they're like, so what would I say? And I gave them another example, and then they were like, oh, and then they like just rattled it off, and they were like, oh, that is so much better because they're actually talking about what people care about when they do. So um, sometimes we have to say no, and that's okay. Like part of the sales process too is not just about them being able to say yes. It's also about us being able to say yes and whether those people are right fit to work with us. Because the next part of the equation, which is customer experience, where we have to deliver, if we sell someone into it that doesn't fit with that, it's a really bad experience. It causes a lot of problems on the back
end. Yeah. Totally. Makes delivery hard.
Yeah.
Makes everything hard. Yeah. So you're shopping just as much as they are on a sales call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or on I'm just going to help people call.
Yeah, and whether that's you that's doing it or your team that's doing it, it's really just helping us all be aligned in who is right fit and what are here's the one person or business. This is what they look like. This is what they're experiencing. Here's the solution that we offer. Oh, sorry. Here's a problem that they're experiencing, and here's the different things. So we can ask the questions to highlight that. Here's our solution for that, or variations of solutions, depending where they're at. Or different levels, I should say, of solutions, depending on where they're at. So if they have those problems, we align them to the solutions, and then we showcase to them, okay, so when we've worked with people, this is the outcome that they have got from using it. And then it's just about them deciding along the way. If they don't mirror up to those things, we go, okay, cool. We can see that this isn't going to work for you, given this, and this, or it's not right fit for you.
All right. So do you want to do a recap?
Why is the first thing that went to come out of my mouth? Don't be shit.
A recap. A recap. Sales is not what we think, right? So sales is about not being shit. Ultimately, it really is, right? It really is.
So
I got to say something on that. The reason that it is about not being shit, I remember when I was doing a heap of sales calls, right, when you and I first started working together, I had a heap and I said to you, do I really have to get on a sales call on Sunday morning? Right? Do you think that's a good idea, or should I set boundaries? Right? This person can only meet me on a Sunday morning. You went, don't be shit. How bad do you want the business? I went, okay, I'm getting up. I'm going to do the call. All right. So, just there's avenues of don't be shit or levels.
Yeah. But you don't need, the difference is where you were at, you needed to do that. Whereas now you don't, right? And the people that you actually work with now are not expecting you to get on a Sunday morning call either. Because we've done the transition. So, but sometimes we've got to operate where we're at.
I don't know. I'm setting up a call on Sunday when I come to Perth with someone, if they'll come out of hiding.
Yeah, that's up to you. So what I would say is that a lot of the time what happens is there's a few things that are out there, right? And that fear of sales doesn't necessarily just present as fear. It presents as us not wanting to feel like we're salesy. We're focused on we have to have everything perfect. We're busy going, I need a landing page for this, or I need this, or like what marketing stuff do I need? And we're talking about all the things that we can't do. What is behind that is the fear, and that's what we need to address. And the way that we address the fear is we focus on other people, not ourselves, because we will do more for other people than we will for ourselves. And we think about what, like, if I have a really great offering, if I've got something that's genuinely going to help someone, why am I disadvantaging them by not being out there helping them? Why am I not supporting them? Why am I, like, as a coaching consultant, like, I have people that I have worked with that have been on their first 5-week holiday ever.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have been able to do that. I've got, I'm working with a business right now that's this year is probably going to hit 8 figures, and they may have got there, but like at the time when I started working with them, there was only 2 of them. They didn't have employees. They were really struggling. They were just working all the nights. They were just backed up. And we, like, the first thing is like, let's get employees in, but we had to have a plan for what are we doing if we can't get employees within this time frame, because we're a little bit worried whether we could get employees within a certain time frame or not. Like, that business, like, if it doesn't hit 8 figures this financial year, I will be completely gobsmacked. That's a massive transition,
Massive.
right? I've got people, like, and it's not all just about I've got people that were working by themselves, isolated. They were struggling. They thought they were going to have to quit. They wouldn't be able to do the thing that now they've just got businesses that suit their lifestyle, that are making good money. They can work. They've gone from working 6 days a week to 4 days a week. They've gone, like, they went on a family holiday for the first time out of the country to go see their grandkids that they'd never seen before. And they emailed me like 2 weeks ago going, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be in Australia for the back end of this because I'm going away for another 2 months.
Yeah, right. So they built the lifestyle, created the
Yeah,
lifestyle.
so I can't guarantee that they wouldn't have done that without me, but I definitely helped them fast track that. And there is a potential that they may not have been able to if I didn't put myself out there.
Right. So that's where we're coming back to sales. If you didn't pop yourself out there in the sales capacity and say, hey guys, do you want my help? Then they wouldn't be having 4-day weeks and months out of the country. Possibly.
One thing that I've really taken on board is there's a guy called Jay Abraham, and very smart guy out there, business consulting. If you haven't heard of him, I'd highly encourage you to go check him out. And what he said, and it was part of a Tony Robbins event that I was doing online, and he said, if you are able to help someone and your product, service, or whatever it is can improve someone's life, you have an obligation to do so. And ever since hearing that, I have taken it to heart, and I just go out and help people every day, regardless of what's happening, regardless of how I feel, regardless of the world. I go and help people every day. That shift has completely changed everything in my life. Like, not just business, everything outside of business, like my whole life has shifted with that one mindset. So for me, when someone says they won't do sales or they don't want to get on a call or whatever, I'm like, you just got to go help people. Like, if you're not willing to do that, why are we even in business?
Well, that's right. That's right. Then you got to ask yourself, you're in business or you're running a charity. Charity is literally just donations. So that's just the difference, right? Rather than an invoice. So yeah, okay.
Even in charity, like, you need to go and talk to other people and go, hey, like, this is what we're doing. Do you want to be a part of it? Come help other people. By the way, open your wallet and give us some money.
Totally right. Fundraising. What's that saying? The cool thing about business is people. The bad thing about business is people. Something along those lines, right? So it's all about people. People. So you just got to get good at people. So, okay, so let's sort of have you got some other things you want to share there on your list? No, or are we going to round it up a little bit?
Yeah.
So when we look at sales, right, there's just one other thing I'd love to chat a little bit about. When I was really scared of it and unsure, I bought myself my books, my Bibles, which are, Fanatical Prospecting. I always have them close at hand. All right, by Jeb and Psychology of Selling. These two changed the game for me because they started to give me systems, right? And I always come back to it and you're like, Kat, don't build out the systems until you've got all that, right? But it's not even about that. It's like I remember sitting there trying to figure out how to actually start to sell my products. And I spoke to some salespeople and they're like, we don't know how to actually share with you what we do, right? I'm like, can't someone just give me 5 steps, 5 basic steps that I need to do today that I can at least measure against to even start? Because like even with Fanatical Prospecting, that book talks about cold calling, going out physically, door knocking, everything to do with social selling. So there's all these avenues around how to start selling. It's like, where do you start? What's a process that we can even start to bring it down to, so that like just at a basic level, I can get out of the gates somewhere, right? And then how do I measure it? So that I was lost at. I had no idea how to figure out a system, measure it. What gets measured gets treasured, right? Like even if I went, all right, I'm going to go to a networking meeting, as you said. And if I can talk to 5 people, that's a metric, right? I can at least go, okay, I spoke to 5 people. What happened? So have you got any ideas around a system people could at least start with at a basic level to start to build a bit of a process? And if you say, just go help people, all right, have you got a system? I've got heaps now, but I remember when I was in the dark in my house, in my office going, I literally don't know where to start. I literally don't know.
Okay, so I've just been talking about this in groups, like my group session that I have with my clients that do the hybrid with group, right? And what we're talking about is firstly, we want to know who the person is, what the problems they have are, and the solution that we're offering and the outcome that they're going to get. And the reason that we need that is so that firstly, we're like, okay, this is who we're talking to. And we want to understand that because then we want to know, okay, where are we actually talking to them? Because where are they? There's no sense in us just standing where we are on top of a building with a megaphone and going, come buy my stuff. Like, because no one cares, right? Like, so we've got to go talk to them where they're at. So that is the first step, is clearly identifying who that one person is, what the problems they are experiencing are, the solutions, and the outcome they're going to get. Because like, let's say you had a marketing team, they probably have all of that stuff. But let's say it's just you want to do it because you need it for marketing anyway. For the sales, you need it so that when you're talking to people, you know what's going on. Then what we want to do is we want to identify, like, this is, I'm just going to give you the real easy, like, you could go and do this right now. Any 3 to 5 areas that you are going to talk to people. And what I mean by that is it might be networking groups, email, social media and DMs. It could be walking into their businesses, mail outs, right? So whatever those things are. So we want to have a plan of who the people are, all the things we need to know up here. What are the areas that we're going to talk to them at? And then break it down again to, okay, how many of those actions am I going to take each week? So that you've got just a plan of how many you're going to do. And sometimes it's either I'm going to send this many letters, or I'm going to attend this many networking groups, or I'm going to send this many DMs. I have a client right now with the phone calls, for example. They are doing 2 hours, 3 days a week.
Yep.
Because sometimes the longer phone calls get better results than a whole heap of shorter phone calls. So it's not about how many phone calls can we do. It's just, this is how much time we're allocating to it, and this is what we're trying to achieve. So when we have that, the thing before we get started is just assess what you have already, because you may already have clients, you may already have referral partners, you may already have an email list from a lead magnet you put out there that you've never done anything. Like, you may have on social media, you may have 1,000 followers or 500 or 200 or whatever that is. In your phone, you may already have 100 people in your phone. So you want to assess what you already have before we go and tackle all of the new things, because all of those people have had some form of experience with you before. So they are the people to go talk to first
Mm-hmm.
in whatever area they fit into. Once you have that, it's about getting out there. Now, let's say we're going to a networking group. We can get a little bit tactical here. I probably won't do it for everything, but let's talk about networking group, because in person is the quickest way to build trust. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
It always
Totally.
will be. When we go to a networking event, here's what I'd encourage you to do. If you can get a list of the attendees, do that. Then work out who are the people that you want to talk to. Do a little bit of homework on who they are, what they like, so that you've got some conversation starters if you need to. Have a pitch, and it doesn't need to be like you buy my thing and get steak knives and get this. It could be something as simple as, hey, I'm Michael from Venture Cultivation Coaching, and I help service-based businesses align their marketing, sales, operations, and people in a strategic roadmap that we help them implement so that they create a business that drives freedom.
Yeah, I like it.
Something to that effect, right?
Take my money.
Yeah, and that is, it's about creating curiosity. It's not trying to sell anyone anything. They want to ask more questions, then you can start talking. It could be and then the next question, oh, how do you do that? Oh, well, what I do is actually I sit down with people for 15 to 40 minutes, and we actually go and find them $100,000 in 45 minutes before we do anything else. And at the end of that, they get this lovely little strategic roadmap that they can follow, and that's for free. That's on me, right? So that gives us the opportunity to see if we're right fit. And if you know anyone that wants to be a part of that, let me know.
If anyone knows anyone.
Yeah, and but
just
it's
like that, right?
you just want to be prepped. That's the initial part. You go, you have the conversations. Make sure you get their details. Don't just give them a business card.
No way.
They are not calling you.
No way.
Get
That's
their
right.
details. I'm a big fan of connecting with them on social media platforms over anything else, because then they can see me more consistently. But get their details and then follow them up. So the next, either when you get home or first thing the next day, whether it's text, email, whatever the point of contact is, hey, Greg, it was really great to meet you. Loved hearing about your business. Look forward to catching up with you soon. Doesn't have to be about selling anything. Doesn't have to be anything else other than just that point of contact. If you think you have greater rapport, you can do more than that, but that's the initial point. Then in a week, come back to again. Hey, Greg, I was thinking about the conversation that we were having. What are your thoughts on this? Because you're just trying to get them to engage with you. It's all about having conversations.
Yeah.
Because if you're engaging with someone and they want to talk about their business, which everyone wants to talk about their business, you can ask about their problems. And then when they have it, they're like, oh, I'm really stuck with this, and go, hey, I have a client that we were stuck with that. Do you want to have a chat just to see what that might look like for you? Then
I just got the list.
yeah, and then someone goes across and, we're on a call, and then you go and you genuinely ask questions that are going to help them.
Yeah, that's a diagnostic call, isn't it?
Yeah.
More so than a sales call or I help people call. All right. So then just to totally wrap up, if I got you correctly, because I think I've got some beautiful points out of what you've said. So thank you. I think the whole sales thing for businesses is it's about them. So when you're first starting out, first off, think, I'm going to go help people. It's about them, not me. So reframe into how you can help people. Number 2, know your avatar. So know who those people are you want to help, even if it's a bit around the edges. So professional services rather than just coaches or something like that. So know your avatar. Be pitch ready. So know a little bit about what you're doing and who you're doing it for and how you help, even if you've got like a 15-second elevator pitch. So have that ready in the background. That galvanizes your thinking. Develop curiosity when you're talking with people. So wherever you've decided that avatar hangs out, that you're going to go and spend some time with. So whether it's social media and networking groups, allow the conversation to be curious rather than salesy at that stage. Get their details, not the other way around, and then follow up. How's that sound? Does that sound like a process?
Yeah, that'll get you started.
That'll get you started,
Yeah.
all right? You'll have a great pipeline. Pipeline is your lifeline. It's one of my favorite places to hang out, right? So that's an amazing reframe around sales for small businesses when they're just starting out and either scared or nervous, or even when they're not just starting out. You know, you could have a new product coming out and you've got to like go back to basics in the market and just understand all that.
I come across plenty of people that have multiple $1 million businesses that still have this challenge when it comes to getting out there and doing the thing. Like, we have this perception that people don't. Everyone does.
Yeah.
It's just working through it until you don't anymore, because you have it in your mind and you're okay.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't become about you. It becomes about your team, and you've got to help them get through that.
Ah. It certainly is. All right. Have you got anything else to add, Michael, on what sales is, or anything but sales? Now we can actually jump into it, right? Just go help people. Don't be shit. Just go help people. Yeah. All right, team. If you've got any questions or comments around sales that you want answered, post this live, drop them in the chat. We always could have a good chat around sales. It's awesome fun. I love it now. How funny. Who would have thought? If you've got anything you'd like us to chat about, by all means, let us know. If you'd like to appear and come and join us on our lives, that would be awesome to let us know as well. Otherwise, have a wonderful week out there, team. We'll see you next week. Michael, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
It was an awesome chat. Thanks for the whole sales wrap. And that's how you do it.